Hello. There we go. Good morning, afternoon, whatever time zone it is. We are back in the Boeing 737 today for two reasons. The first is, well, the Phoenix expansion is launching this week, and I'm kind of doing a farewell tour of a bunch of airplanes. And the second is, when I bought the 777, I flew it and flew it and flew it and flew it, and then went right back to the short haul airplane. So, since we're crossing off a bunch of stuff, I thought I would do a flight from Osaka, Japan, up to ROAH. I forget the actual name of the airport. So, we will jump into it. It's about an hour and a half flight. It's got Hey Marco, Cal, also Hey Marco, Callie Simmer, and Zippy. It's nice to see all of you. It's a very scenic approach. I flew the route yesterday, and I loved it. The approach into ROAH is fun. There's 18 right, and one of the main arrival airports is sort of this strip out in the middle of the bay. So this is going to be fun in true streamer fashion. I flew the test route yesterday thinking I was going to do it in the A306 and decided today instead to do it on the Boeing. So I've kind of forgotten how to fly this plane. So let's start. Boy, it's a good thing for checklists. Parking brake, which I actually think is not set. Oh, hey, I actually set the parking brake. We're off to a good start. Let's see, go through electrical. Got that on. Parking brakes. Parking brakes, gear levers, flap levers set. Set batteries. Perfect. External generators on and on. Thrust asynchronous compression. That was set correctly. I'm so used to, like with a 737, actually having to turn a whole bunch of stuff on that I forget that it's a lot of this on the checklist is checking. Got the nav lights on. Emergency seat belts on and guarded. Signs, we'll get to all that. Electric hydraulic pumps. So that's on. I think it's electrical. And the backup generators. On and on. Yes, yes, Cali, Simmer. I love flying. I love flying in Japan also. And the two airports, I have linked to them in the description. They are. Let me zoom out and take a closer look at the outside as we're doing it. They're payware quality. These are the two developers. Um, and again, the links in the description, forget which one's which, but they have released a whole bunch of Japanese sceneries, and they are awesome. They are free, and I need to fly into these more. For ATC, I am using FS because it works better with the traffic, and the traffic I am using is FSLTL. Go back through the old checklist. 8 rows. You know, it's funny with this is like I'm so used to all the airplanes. You have to hit the three switches, and it's really messing my brain that you just click this one button. It's like even the Airbus, you have to do three things. Anti-ice. Where's anti-ice? Anti-ice. Right. Do the window. And the NOC kind of throws me too because it makes me think that it's like not turned on. Anti-ice and window heats, that's all set. I think the anti-ice, yep, they're all set to auto. And coming back down. Please hit that. The altimeter set. Light clearance. Yeah, I know, Zippy. Like even the Airbus isn't this automated. The one thing I don't like about FS HUD is it really does seem like that initial flight clearance, to give me initial flight clearance to 210. I do like with BATC, I get a more realistic initial climb, and boy, I can't wait for it to come out with the traffic stuff. Got that. This one sets the transponder automatically, but let's double check. It did not. Buck 655. TCAS set. Need to load all the fun stuff. Electronic flight bag. Data from SimBrief. Woohoo, look at all that fun stuff. And MC. I still do have to do the old, but it knows where it is a little bit better than the 737. Oh, Hiroshima, I got to try that one too. Not used to how long it takes to do the route requesting as well. I skipped through this a few times and there we go. Loading. I'm so used to on the 737, it's just being a boom, 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 Bob's your uncle. Debate. Execute. Perfect. I feel like that it brings in all of this. Let's see, 0 fuel weights, load that up. I reject your reality and substitute my own. I feel like I have. So you said, they like I have to do something in it here, but. Alright. Rust limit. Go back over here. The performance tool. Me 3, 2 left. TO2. Remind me, Zippy, when we get to cruise, to go over what Amir said about the A321s coming out of LAX, and also nice landing yesterday with V1. I can't say anything because, well, first of all, in one of Shaq's streams, I flew right under him, and boy, I should have named my channel the Vegan Landings because they are not butter. 5. And trim will be 5. Departure. Would be 2 left. Tiger 2 and don't think there was a transition. Yeah, as I start going through this, one of the weirdest approaches I had because my friend Javi that I met when he was streaming was flying into Juneau, I think. I forget one of the Alaskan airports, but um, Amir, let me make a note on this. Amir's A321 post about ALX. Um, and it was a weird approach. And right on stream, I was turning and I was basically like on the approach, almost bounced off the hill that's at the end of the runway. Doing anything else? Got that set. Take off. Load those. Forget where to grab the. Gotcha. That. Everything. That. Yep. All right. That's all. That's all. Let's see. What did it give me? Probably not. Yep, I do actually. All right. 1. Oh. Hang on. I'll I'll link it when when we get there. Yeah. Where's these speeds? Oh. Speeds. And then I am regretting not grabbing a snack. Usually go 20 over. I know that that's a little excessive, but I feel like there's something else in my setting, but the barrow's correct. Hey, plane nuts, nice to see you. All right, let me see. All right. Let's do the pushback stuff. Pushback, get pushback clearance, release ground power. Oh shit, I need to turn the APU on. And the fuel pumps. All that stuff. And the APU, let's get beacon going. Yeah. 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 GSX accents. All right, that should get us. Let's see. Base. Keep going out. to there, it's a right. I almost forgot how to start the engines. Oh, okay. Thanks, Abby. I'll check that. The auto brake. The trim. Strobes on, flap set. Hey Tony, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by. Voice good. Set. Under display. Engine. What the hell I hit it? Yeah, the flight attendant just bought snacks. All right, LNAV's on. And taxi lights. That is on. All right. Yeah, that was quite the landing. I can't, like I said, I can't say anything about it. Not even going to show it because, Lord, I've had worse. Yeah, you know, I was just watching that Zippy going, what the heck is up with that? I really do feel like I'm forgetting something, but it's probably generate an alert up in cruise. And I realized this week that everybody's brothers, sisters, cousins, former roommates are going to be streaming the Phoenix, and it would be the smart thing to do to grow the channel would be to stream things that aren't the Phoenix. But man, I've just been looking forward to it too much. Like, they just can't. How was Cuba landing, Tony? Yeah, that's changing this week too. Thankfully, Tony. We'll cover Phoenix. Where are we going to cover the Phoenix and cruise? Whoopsie. I went the wrong way. All right, what's a good runway incursion amongst friends? I won't tell ATC if you don't. Only illegal if you get caught. Besides, we can do short field takeoffs in the 777, right? Oh yeah, that's right too, Zippy. I keep forgetting that this is a big bird. Oh yeah. Oopsie. Boy, we're runway incursioning all over the place. Hey, by the way, I'm ready for departure. Dave Knott, good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. Boy, are we ready for departure already? Friggin' halfway down the roll. Yeah, I am too at that waypoint because I've never quite seen one flicker like that.
V1.
We throw the autopilot on early because, wow, this departure is just nice. Yeah, with terrain, we'll find a terrain we run into it. Right, that's going. See, Dave. Dave's asking when the Phoenix 321 stream. It will be second on your stream list. Because I have a schedule mapped out already. All right, this is going to be like the Bermuda Triangle when we cross this. I think it's this way of telling. Oh, I know why it's doing that. Because it's... Oh, it's flashing because it's saying that there's an intercept. But it is not giving me any directions, so... Yeah, it's going straight to Tiger. All right. Yeah, I sent you the link to that stellar landing, Kelly. Yeah, it's funny with Mr. Knott. He and I known each other for, I don't think it's been quite 10 years, but like one of the tech circles that we were in. And then one day we were both like, hey, wait, you flight sim? I flight sim. And that was that. Yeah, I was laughing at that Zippy. Well, I mean, it was great theater. It's like it's always fun to watch those things. But I remember in one of my streams, you were like, "Dude, unstable approach," and then I was sitting. Ah, that was a hold my beer moment. So it's weird with that Discord. So Dave and I, there's a Discord that's a bunch of people that we all know from like the Apple Tech Circle, and the way I've got my Discords grouped You know, like the ones I usually go to a lot are up near the top. And that Discord is like the only one that I'm in that's not flight sim related. And it'll be like, oh, you have a new unread here. And I'm clicking on it and I'm like, what the heck are you guys going? Oh, yeah, that's right. This isn't the one that has any flight sim stuff. Yeah, and it's like Matt and a couple other people flight sim, but they're definitely in the, you know, fly with the Xbox controller crowd, so it's fun. All right, did you have my list, Tony, for stuff we need to pick up at Home Depot? All right, so the Phoenix, which most of us know, it's releasing this week. And they haven't said what day. My feeling is it's really, well, they don't release on Friday, so we could take Friday out. It could release, well, it can release any day, to be honest, but they seem to like numbers. And we're going with this is like, if you notice that, like, when they did one of the Block 2 videos, like every runway that they were landing on was like runway 27, and everybody's like, oh, that means they're going to release on the 27th, and it turns out that, yeah, they at least, I think they announced it on the 27th, but the dates mattered, which is also making me think that this week the dates matter, because you have the A319 and you have the A320th, and today is August 18th, so it could release. You know, they could be planning on a tomorrow release for the A319, or they could release Wednesday for the 21st. And I feel like, I don't know, I got a gut feeling about tomorrow. Like, I would not be surprised to see it hit tomorrow. And because I have my list of what I'm going to do. So one of the things that was interesting on that long blog post that Dave put out was saying that in the testing that they thought that everybody would gravitate towards the A321 because bigger airplane and all that. And Dave, one of the art guys, had been saying, like, that's how he thought he was going to go, but he kept coming back to it and really enjoying flying the A319. I'm looking forward to flying the A319 as well. I don't know how they line up in terms of like matching to the Boeings. Like, I know that the A318 and the Boeing and the 736 are close, but I am looking forward to the bubble. Wow, there's a train of thought that just left. Oh, so I'm looking forward to flying the baby bus. And it will be the first thing I fly, and it will be the first thing that I stream. And so my first test flight that I am planning is going to be a U.S. Airways flight from Boston to LaGuardia, because that run's just always my proving ground to test stuff out. It's the funnest to collect route. The first stream will be U.S. Airways from Charlotte to Boston. Obviously don't know about the dates of any of this, but we get to the A321, like, for a while I was thinking, like, okay, obviously I'm going to like the A319, it's just going to be fun, it's going to be fun. And it has given me this serious reevaluation of flight simming, the future of the channel, and a bunch of other stuff, which is going to sound deeper than it really is, but there's a couple of reasons why I like flying the older defunct routes. The first is that, well, they don't change. You know, the historical databases that I have, U.S. Airways isn't suddenly going to start flying. Oh, crap. Oopsie. You know, U.S. Airways isn't going to suddenly start allowing new routes. So I like that. And I just really like the old libraries, like especially the old U.S. Air libraries, the old Lufthansa libraries, the um, America West. And where I started thinking about it, I'm like, I'm starting to map out some of my streams of what I want to fly. And I'm like, American Airlines has all of those classic heritage liveries for Piedmont Airlines, Allegheny, U.S. Airways, America West. And I'm like, you know, those are going to be fun to fly. Like, am I really going to still be like the defunct airline guy? Because I'm like, those libraries are kind of fun because, you know, part of the thing too is like there's just not a lot of, I mean, a lot of, especially for the A320, there's not a lot of what I call like a fun livery. Now, American with the 738, where they have the bare metal, the TWA, and some of those, like those are great. Those are fun. But then I'm thinking like, well, Lufthansa also has their 50th anniversary, which is a retro thing. And I'm like, so I think I'm going to start introducing a whole lot more of the modern stuff into, or current day, into my flight planning. So anyway, going back to it, the A321, one of my first flights for that, I'm going to do Spirit from Florida to MMTP, and most likely the first stream will be an American Airlines from KORD and down to Philadelphia, probably in the America West Library. And then, yeah, it's going to be fun. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, there's a bit of a farewell tour for me and my airplanes. I reset my Southwest virtual airline timer this week. Actually did that on Thursday before they even announced anything. So I'm good for another 2 months there. V-Spirit I still need to reset, but well, that's not going to be a problem with the Airbuses. So what are you guys planning on doing with the 319? Yeah, I can see that, Dave. That'll be a fun run. Like that run up to Edinburgh is always a fun one. Yeah, Zippy, like, I know they said like it just didn't make sense financially for them to do the A318, and especially to bundle it in with the 319 and 321. But if they offered a 318 as a separate price package for, honestly, I'd pay what we're getting a double for to do it. I'd do it because it's bringing that in and out of London City would be great. Yeah, same here, Zippy. Just yeah, I think it would be a rocket. And I love this livery. The Pokemon library is just, it's great. And the painter did a great job with it. Yeah, the I'd like a 7.3 classic, but I think that the hard part, like, I am curious too, if, about what Phoenix's next project is going to be. Um, my hope and the money move would be to just round it out, do the 321 Neo. Um, but yeah, it's like, would a classic 7.3 sell? Like, how well did something like, well, how well does a 727 sell? And I guess that'd sort of be an interesting question because it's a good comp, I think, because it's a harder airplane to fly. It's not a Children of the Magenta Line. So I'm curious. And then the other thing that's going to happen this week is PMDG has said that they're going to be releasing this week. Well, they said it a couple of weeks ago, the beginning of the third week in August. They beginning to backport some of the behind the scenes stuff for the 777 are going to start trickling down into the 737. I don't know if this fix has the infamous RF legs fix or not, but they are going to start getting, bringing, and then eventually they'll be moving down a lot of the EFB changes in too. Yeah, Zippy, as much as we've got a bunch of Neos, because we've got the I9, which actually isn't bad. We got the fly-by-wire, but you're right. Like, Phoenix just rounding it out with, a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch, hitting for the cycle. Yes, I would be down for that. Yeah, I agree, Mr. Knott, that, I mean, that's why I'm like, I have a hard time seeing Phoenix making cash off. I'm not even sure, like, what what Boeing stuff that they could make. That's, iFly's coming out with the Max. PMDG's made all of the 7.3s. Like, maybe I could see them dipping into, like, doing a really good 7.5, but I mean, I love the old classic stuff, but I look at even running this like a 747 400, I'm just kind of like, because it's one of the. So, short story, but on one of Captain Canada streams, I won a €25 gift card to Sim Market, and what I've been toying with is using that as sort of a half off coupon and getting either the BAE 146 or the Fokker 28. And I like the old school stuff, but it's like they're just like watching all the videos on the BAE about like what you need to do to fly it. I'm just like, that's a lot of work. Like, that's a lot of work. And just like, I'm like, going and doing some of the classic stuff now because I'd love to fly the classic Pan Am routes. But what I'm probably going to do is just use like the plane outside of the Phoenix. I would say that the plane I am looking forward to the most is just flights A300 B4, which Pan Am had. I think Continental had. And that will be fantastic. The also what's going to be coming out mid-month next month is Microsoft has said that they're not going to be doing a system update 16 until well after 2024's launch, but they're going to be doing an AAU3, which has some tweaks to Neo, but they are also putting a bunch of improvements in on the A310, which Pan Am did have. So I'm like, okay, I can kind of do my Pan Am routes with the A310. It's an airplane that I love. And so I kind of covered that way with some of the older stuff. The plane I haven't, so the other plane I'm really looking forward to is when PMDG releases the 200, because that's what Continental had, which gets me back to some of the older routes. The freighter I'm really torn on. Really torn on getting the 7 freighter. I think I'm going to cave anyway, but it's going to kind of depend on the price too, because I'm like, FedEx still use them primarily as like a long haul, I think, freighter. So, but the time compression on the 737 on the 777 is just amazing. Like one of the tests, I'm going to do a test offline just to see how OBS handles it, but I'm thinking about taking, especially Jet Airways, which had the 777, taking their doing their flight. They had a great flight from, I think it was VIDP up into Brussels. It's a 9-hour flight, and I did it with time compression. It was great. Just like it took whole flight took like 2 hours. So I think, well, that'd be a great stream thing, because it's like this whole part where we're up here when we're in cruise. It's like, yeah, it looks neat, but it's kind of like, yeah. But I'm not sure how OBS is gonna fully handle streaming it while I'm flying it. Like I just don't know if that's gonna push my system too far to the edge. And yeah, Dave, like, because the only 340 that's out there right now is Latin VFRs, which is still marketplace only, and it's a Latin VFR airplane. And they're another one that, like last year, they kept saying like, oh yeah, we're gonna have our own custom flight model. We're gonna have our own custom flight model. We're gonna have our own custom flight model, and they still haven't got the new custom flight model out there, which is similar to the issue I have with the E-Jets, where they're still going, yeah, our custom flight model's coming, yeah, our custom flight model's coming, but they keep releasing other airplanes and still no custom flight model. Which is also where I end up looking at something like the BAE, because I'm like, it's a feature, it's like, there just isn't a good regional airplane. And CRJ, well, the CRJ, if the E-Jets were feature complete, I'd love them, but they aren't. And again, the BAE and the Fokkers, like, they're tough. So it's like the RJ is one I could probably get behind when Just Flight comes out with the Avro RJ. Not a lot of North American operators for it, but it has a glass cockpit. It's got the 4 engines, which is fun, and so it'd be a little bit less of a workload. And yes, if you agree, it was a tough decision to get the airplane, and I kind of had a case of FOMO, and I picked it up, and I did enjoy flying it, but it was one of those, like, it was, the $73, and it was like, what ended up being, it's like I actually spent less money at Expo than I had budgeted for, so I'm like, okay, well, buy it, still come in under budget. Where are we now? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the Fokker. We are. Whoop. Just about here. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping, Dave. I hope it comes in around that price point. But the 777 is more expensive than the 737, and the 737 came, the 700 and 800 came with two variants, and okay. Was it okay, Zippy, when I was doing the external? All right, how's this one? Do we have a wing view set up? Oh, don't get me started on that. All right, how is it with the wing view? So other than frames, I actually kind of like I like the 737 one because I like that, A, it's bigger than the Phoenix one, and it's got that big map like right on the home screen. And then the iFly 737 Max looks fantastic. Welcome back, plane. The first world problem with it is with the Phoenix with me this week is, all right, take it easy, Dave. That my meeting schedule and workload for deliverables this week is just enough that I really can't come down with a good case of the flu for a couple of days to fly the Phoenix. So And actually, it has to. The Phoenix has to release tomorrow because that's the day that V1 starts his 3-day trip. So. So what are y'all's? So what are y'all's planning with the Phoenix? What's going to be the first one that you guys are thinking of flying, and where? Oh, that's tough, Zippy. Ooh, a little lightning off the engine. Wait, I forget. I think there's weather on this, isn't there? Yeah, it was interesting too, Zippy, with the A321, where just even like how the fuel and everything is handled is different. Like I had really sort of thought that it was going to be like the 737s, where it's like they're all basically the same, and it's just a little bit of handling characteristics, but it is not. I don't think I put any of my arrival stuff in here yet, so let me take care of that. So SimBrief is giving me 18 left, but I know doing this yesterday. That gave me 18 right instead. So let's plan for that. This is what I'm going to want to do it for me anyway via the All right, Zippy, let me know if that helps. Plus, we've got at some point, I9 is going to drop to 350. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Yeah, I'm just at the home screen. Okay, great. Thanks. I am not zippy, and it's hard to tell. Like I've got it up just so I can kind of see like how it is, but I'm not watching it enough to see. But actually, now that you mentioned it, does seem like it's a little smoother. At some point, I'll architect a way so I can bring up the Navigraph stuff a little bit easier. But and right into the soup. So what I just linked to is that post I was telling you about earlier, where Amir had posted, one of the Phoenix devs had posted over in AppSim that the A321, one of the testers tried a KLAS MTOW engine failure at 42 degrees Celsius, and suffice to say, the plane did not make it. And because after finding out is that, like, that plane wouldn't have been dispatched with that weight load, but SimBrief and all those will give it to you. So it was just, it's interesting because a lot of people keep thinking that, and I thought this too, that like, well, okay, the A321, like it's got the big honking powerful engines, like that thing's a rocket, but it, you know, a lot of times the 319, from what I was reading, actually has better range than a 321. Hey, Shaq, how's it going? And congratulations on passing your commercial check. And we are going to hit 0914, so just about an hour away. Also took a little getting used to the just where the things are. And how are the frames when I go to the exterior now? Now that the map is thinking about doing things, because this is such a great view. Oh, Shaq, I am doing U.S. Air. First one is gonna be Boston to LaGuardia, and the first stream is going to be Charlotte to Boston. Okay, great. What was that thing? This livery is so much fun too. This is one of those liveries that, like, I get the technical aspect of, like, especially for the people for the you know, but it's like the when you see a video and like here's how to create the libraries for the things, like I can get that, but it's like looking at this, I'm like, how do they do it? Like, you know, obviously they have to come off the source image, but is it like, I'm assuming that they translate this all into vectors and like clean it up, or like I can't imagine this is all just straight scans. Yeah, that's the other one too, Shaq, is all of those AAL retro historic liveries, like they had said, like they've said that like, and I'm guessing it's probably between all three models, but it's like there'll be something like 450 liveries in Livery Manager. Oh, okay, thanks. That's what I thought, but like, I just can't imagine the amount of effort that goes into translating this livery into um, onto the plane. Because I know, like, I just created a couple like fictional gray air ones, and like they were pretty straightforward and took me forever. Glad we're not landing in that. Although we could be. Nope. We'll be descending through some of it, I think, but Naha is clear. Yeah, yeah, that's. Yeah, and a lot of pixel cleanup, and then getting it straight so that you can then wrap it, or basically unwrap it so that you can wrap it on the model. Yeah, that's true, Zippy. I do not know Blender, but I know Photoshop, so I tend to default to using Photoshop. You just get that down to 10,000. And I forget what it gave me yesterday, but still 184 miles from top of drop. Yeah, and the hard part too with making liveries is like the only way you test how it looks in the plane is that you have to load the sim and then go, okay, yeah, that's what it actually looks like on the model. And at least my sim don't load quick. And then you're gonna have to create a whole new pack of libraries, Zippy, for yep. Oh yeah, retro libraries are always good. Retro libraries are always good, Zippy. Yeah, it's a fun, creative process. It is fun. Like I do enjoy the libraries I've created, and I want to create a few business jet type ones. And I'm also just looking forward to like FlightSim.to is probably going to melt down from everybody uploading libraries and downloading them. There'll be a little transition I'll need to do as part of the Phoenix because I have the Bravo, but I also have the WinWing FCU, and I need the knobs less now with the well, actually not at all for the Phoenix other than some of the EFIS stuff, but I'm probably going to rip that off and go back to using the Thrustmaster TCA for a couple of reasons. One is that unless I go out and buy something like the ProDesk Sim detent mods, even with a healthy dead zone, getting the detents in for the Phoenix it's a little tough. And I like having the engine start switches and all that right there. So, and it's smaller. Like the Bravo takes up a huge chunk of my desk. I work from home, so it sits there off to the side all the time. And what I do have for my side stick and few other things is I got these little like almost 1 foot by 1 foot bolt-on desk mounts that I used to put them on, and I have another one that, because the Bravo, if I put it with the Bravo, it sticks out too far. But getting that in with the having that sit there now, it just frees up my desk space a little bit more. And the WinWing FCU is really, really fantastic. I use SPAD.next, so there are a few profiles like I'm using it with the 777. I don't get the lights, which is fine. Which has also got me thinking that, like, really, like, the only plane I really need the Bravo for is something like the ATR, because I've got it set up too with that one where I use all 6 axes to control, the props, the feathers, the brakes, and all that. So what is also nice with the 777 though is no more entering in the ILS frequency. And the power is 263. Oh, that'd be good, Zippy. That's how you end up getting me to join YipJet, isn't it? I need to build my new sky rating up before I can join, and I'm thinking of just cheating and, like, just auto landing a couple of landings just to boost my rating. And cargo. And we're getting there, 122 nautical miles to top and drop. Yeah, the A300 is probably my second favorite plane to fly. If I had to rank them, I would go the Phoenix A320, the A300, and oh geez, that's a good idea. 2-plane nuts. That's a good idea. If you're just setting weather to clear, no wind, that's a good idea. The Phoenix is my favorite, like, just hands down. The second one would be the A300. The third, just in terms of enjoying flying, it would be the 777. Now, this is sort of almost like this and a few of the other ones. The numbering isn't going to back it up, because I fly the 737 way more. And even since I got the 777, I fly the 737 more. But I enjoy the 777 more than the 737, especially because of the RF legs issues. And then the fourth would be the 737s. And So that's my orders. Like, what are you guys' favorites? Yeah, it is. This the 600 is. I also have a few fictional like private liveries, and it's just that thing. I love the 600. It's a rocket. Just you have a few streams penciled in with that one, some historic ones, because WestJet flew it a lot, and Scandinavian. And I feel like some Janet ops need to happen. Which is also why I kept hoping that Phoenix would release the A318, because them doing a small bird like that would just be a rocket. Now, I wonder if, can you get the 600 into London City? Like, I've never tried. But, like, I know that you really just needed the A318 for it, but I'm curious if you can get the 300 into London City. Maybe we just need to keep pestering Phoenix to make the A318. You missed a lot of witty. Welcome back, Callie. Um, you missed the great discussion about what we're all going to be flying with the A319 and A321. So it's your turn to say what you're going to be flying with the A319 and the 321. And we are about 73 miles from Toppity Droppity. I feel like that would be a good stream, the ATR into London City. I got to make a note on that too. Yeah, because that's sort of the problem that they had with the 600 is it was just slightly. It was a heavy bird, and not that much smaller than the 700. So the economics were like, we're just better off getting the 700 because you can cram a couple more meat bags into it. We really just need Phoenix to make the A318 or somebody to make a good regional. Which is why I still keep coming back to something like the BAE. I was watching one of Flight Deck to sim streams on it though, and I'm like, even not streaming, that's just, there's a lot going on in that plane. So here's hoping for the RJOO-ROAH and the Fokker. I did have a fun moment on that sim. I was flying, I think I was flying out of the one of the VATSIM events, and the I spawned in, and next to me was somebody flying a US Air F-28, and I was getting ready to push, and he'd already pushed out back, and I'd asked for clearance, and the controller's like, okay, it's like, you can push, but be careful of the plane that pushed. And I was able to say with a straight face, yes, I've got the little Fokker in sight. Really, the West Coast, Cali, shocking. So outside of the fact that the East Coast is the best coast, what I like about it is it reminds me a little bit of flying in Europe, because you've just got all of these great airports and great approaches just like packed in there. Oh yeah, that'd be a good one. And I forget, is it Synaptic that's making the 220 that they got over to um that got moved over to I. Callie, a great run, and it's a Southwest flight, Providence to DCA. That's just a great run. Ah, okay, yep. Um, plus 3 months from tomorrow, FS24 drops, and with that, we're going to get the A300, the A330 rather, from I that I is making as part of it, and the Max. So, Callie, I was still in my pajamas until right before I started streaming, and I was basically like, I can't stream in my pajamas. One of the things I was joking with a coworker about is that, before we were in the office, I usually wore like straight business casual, polo shirts, chinos, and all that. And then work from home, I was like, well, I'm going to wear jeans and a polo shirt. And I've now fully regressed to jeans and a t-shirt. And if I'm on a meeting with somebody that won't be in jeans and a t-shirt, I have a bunch of my work fleece jackets that are hanging on the hook behind me. So I just grab one of those. And I was joking that I'm like, does this mean that Casual Friday now means I'm going to work in my pajamas? Yeah. Yes, it is. Fine. And where did... Huh, I wonder if Beyond ATC forgot about me, because I'm not getting... There we go. Yep, good. It's bringing me on the right. It's expecting, yep, yep. All right, there we go. And I'll let VNAV do its thing. Every day should be National Jammy Day. Get the speed brake set, or the auto brakes. I also hope EATC releases their, at least to the supporter pack, folks, the traffic soon. Like, they posted a progress note on it not too long ago, but very curious too to see if anything Microsoft is going to do, especially with the Microsoft AI stuff, aptly named Copilot, to do with ATC, because I feel like they should be able to do something with it too. And I'm also curious what the premium editions are going to be for flights for MSFS, because they've also said on the last developer stream that they're not ready to announce the full list of airplanes coming because they aren't sure which one's going to make the cut for launch. So I think they're cutting it real close too. I asked Jorg about it at Expo, what was in the premium pack, and all he just said was, it's nice. And I'm like, thanks. Thanks. Yeah, that's the sad, honest truth that they've ignored it. But I have, I have some hope at least because overall, I think Jorg has been a good steward of the game and a good steward of the hobby. So, especially with how he's been wanting to improve the quality to default airplanes and how we're getting like the A330 and the Max as part of the base game for 24. So, I think that it was something that he's going to want to fix. And we'll start hearing about some of the stuff that they haven't talked about next month of the developer stream because they said that on the last one, this is the last one where the focus is going to be mostly on 2020. So next month's dev stream should be starting to get 2024 info. And of course, with the Phoenix launch, when he gets back from his trip, the required viewing will be B1's A319, A321 streams. Yeah, that's probably the smart thing to do, Plane, is to wait. Um, I know I lack the patience to do that, and I'm going to want the 330 and the Max. So, but the good news is you can run them side by side, and it sounds like 24 is going to have a much less footprint. And I use Add-on Linker, so all of my sceneries and airplanes, most of my airplanes live on an external hard drive. So I actually think I should be able to run both of them together pretty easily. Yeah, Plane. I'm when 2024 launches, I'm probably going to move my entire base. I'm going to do a sim link and move all of the 2024 stuff onto that same external drive. But because with all my sceneries and libraries, that 2 terabyte drive is getting kind of packed already. And coming down into some ugly weather. Yeah, most of my games too are on my external. Um, Honestly, a lot less are installed now because once I started getting into flight simming, I didn't play my other games. Um, but yeah, some of my Steam stuff, I've got 3 external drives hooked up. Two of them are in the IDE bays, and one of them, the SSD, is through USB-C. So, wow, nice lightning. All right, Zippy, good luck. Good luck, Zippy. We're all counting on you. Hey, Victor, welcome to the stream and chat. How are you doing today? Need to keep an eye on this too. Came in a little high last night. This is nice. And yep, it did hurt the frames. So my office window looks out. I abut a ton of woods that I don't own, and we set up a ton of bird feeders and everything. And there are these three squirrels out by the bird feeder I look at out my window, just having the absolute best day ever, running around chasing each other, and it's kind of fun to watch. We have a couple of squirrel baffles to try to keep them out, and they did a great job for like the first couple of years, but now they managed to work their way around it, and I'm kind of like, I feel like I should do something about this, but you kind of earn sitting on that bird feeder. I'm gonna drop it down to where I want to be at 1200 soon. So let me let it slow itself down first. Yeah, we have 8 crows that stopped by. We call them the police, and we had a hawk that was like trying to hunt. And all I did not realize this at the time, but wow, crows don't like hawks. They all landed spread out, started making all sorts of noise. Still speed brakes to. Yeah, we have like a little small wall that separates them, and every now and then he'll lay out there like it's a cat, just like chilling, like the paw hanging over. But I intentionally keep that area weeded as well to protect them a little bit from the flying hawks and stuff. So it's like they like hiding out in there. Yeah, that's what I found. It was really interesting to watch, and oh yeah, plus I get turkeys. And this whole big turkey was sitting up there, sitting on our table, and the hawk was taking a run at the turkey, and the turkey was just like, yeah, whatever, dude. I'm like, it was something to watch that time for sure. And then one time it was like an Alfred Hitchcock movie, like probably like 200 or 300 of them showed up. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, the falcons are nice. Some of the wooded areas where I live nearby, I get them. Right, closing in on our approach. Oh yeah, I saw one video of a couple of bald eagles where a commercial fisherman was filleting fish, and the bald eagle was sitting there like right next to the guy, like, hey, 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 can you help me out? And then he gave him one, and of course it's like giving seagulls something. And then it was like, there was like 2 or 3 bald eagles going, hey, if you gave him one. So one nice thing with the wind wing profile that I have on SPAD is with the Airbus A3, once you have that selector, like on the Airbus to do, thousands or hundreds, and it works with it, which is nice. There is an offset ILS on this one too, which makes it a little bit of fun. There we go. Grabbing a loc now. Oh, that can imagine that. Oh yeah. That is smart. Yeah, we have an umbrella out on our patio with it's got wheels so we could move it around a little bit, and it clamps down obviously, but there's a chipmunk that lives under there, and I'm just like, yeah, it's a total bachelor pad. Like he's living his best life. Like he's right next to like all of this good food. Ooh, wait. Helps to get fully configured for landing. This is a little fun coming in over this because it really is a trust the instruments, right? Hanging out at minimums, 600 feet above the water. There we go. There's a runway. (24 knot), 20 knot headwind.
Approaching minimums. Minimums. 100. 50. 30. 20.
Not at all legal.
10.
Screw it. On the go. Did not want to go around. I don't think I've ever actually done a go around in a 220 either. This is like that time I flew under Shack. I got a little bit more focused on the chat than actually flying the plane. Curse the streamers. We go out to Kugel. Let's do a little self. Yeah, that was one of those. Am I going to make it? Am I going to make it? No. Not even a little. Yeah, I was coming in way too fast. It really does feel like we're just... And let's find out the 777 for something like the 777 and... Yep, not on intercept heading. me just check my yep, right. See, still got the right frequency. And down to 180. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why I don't fly in VATSIM much yet. Especially on stream. Alright, set you up for the loc. And gear back down. Down to 160. Alright, back on the loc. About to grab the glide slope. Once more with feeling. Insufficient fuel. Yeah, I forgot I need to rework my Scenery profiles because I usually have them give me a bunch of you're a noob and go around a lot fuel, and I think the one I have for 777 doesn't have that buffer. However, since this is not a Southwest Airlines flight, VA, I do not need to worry about my fuel levels when I land. Yeah, 30 knot headwind. That's fun. This is one of those like, and boy, fixing this would, if anybody made it, would be ungodly expensive. Is you don't. It's not easy to get the feel for like what's happening around you. Like you can see, oh yeah, I look down, you're like, okay, there's 30 knot winds, but you don't feel the 30 knot winds. You don't feel the crosswinds. You don't. You can see the plane bouncing around, but you don't get that violent back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And so in this one, because of all that, I am going to ride it down quite a bit on the. Ooh, for a minute, I thought we were. Thought we were done for.
Approaching minimums.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
Minimums.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
Yeah.
Too low, terrain.
It's a flaps issue.
Too low, terrain. 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 Too low, terrain.
Jesus, this thing's floating like the Phoenix.
Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
To quote V1, I gotta make dinner. I'm not going around. But we didn't run off the end of the runway, so there's that. Should probably read up on how to actually auto land this thing. One of the nice things about, and this is why I picked this runway, this airport, without knowing that the squalls had moved in. And it's a fun taxi back. 'Cause it almost reminds me a little bit of the Boeing factory where you roll out of the factory and I think it's Painfield and then go across that bridge. And it's, as we taxi down here, I can already tell you what the Atlanta report, damage report is. According to Atlanta, very respectable 247, 1.06, but well past the marker, so the chief pilot will still be wanting to have a quick conversation with me. Yeah, not only am I not used to the 777, I am not used to the 777 in weather. How was your landing, Zippy? And that was definitely a vegan landing, not butter. You know, thinking about it, I'm actually thinking that my first flight with the Phoenix update might be a just a straight 320 run to see how the flare's different with something I'm used to. The other thing I was reading about with one of Amir's posts is that the A319 is such a rocket taxiing that to avoid cooking the brakes, the standard procedures usually are to let it ride all the way up to 30 and then slam on the brakes to get it back down to 10. All right. I did run the brakes. Just light sim for a minute because I want to get it set. I want to try I tried a new replay tool, but I'm not sure if I need to load the panel state for the approach. So I've got time for just one, so see what this looks like. Almost would be surprised if I did a tail strike too. Man, this is just ugly weather. And that was it going. Dude, what the hell? Here comes the float. It was smooth, about 500 yards too long, but alrighty, people, that will do me for today. Thank you again for coming and hanging out and chatting and smashing the like button and all that stuff. So I will be streaming this week with the Phoenix most likely. So, oh well. Got the replay tool likes to just kind of keep it going. Thanks, Fred. Hey, Fred, I didn't see you lurking there. Thank you.